Okay, it's starting the live stream. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're good. So we are live on YouTube. So
So Kleiners actually came to Bellbrook. They didn't use the GIS photos and drone.
it doesn't appear so,
Okay.
because I mean, they've even got, you know, that's the front of Dart's building. That
Well, that's true, and that's not something.
that would, I mean, I guess maybe you could have gotten that from GIS, but I don't know why, you know, I don't know. I don't know if you would have or not. So I'll start over since Ernie has joined. So 8 proposals. We didn't have anybody submit late. I had sent everybody the like scoring sheet, and I had also ranked them all in terms of price, and there was a really large spread. 24,000 was the cheapest and 85,000 was the most expensive, so it's a pretty big spread on that. I used the rubric that was in the RFP to score, and KZF and Kleiners ranked 1 and 2, and they both tied with the same score of 95. So I do like that Kleiners appeared to actually come and visit the community. I thought that was really impressive. They have everybody all under one roof. They don't subcontract out any different firms. There were let's see, 4 of them that subcontracted out some of the work. So I do like that everybody is under one roof and works together with both of those firms. And I don't know, I'm really anxious to see what you guys think of these. I'm anxious to hear what you guys think of the price and what you thought of the proposals, if anybody stood out to anybody else.
Where does MSP show up on your rank, on your rubric?
They tied for 4 and 5 with Brandstetter Carroll.
Okay.
And I was a little conflicted about that one because they use our engineer. Dan Hoying is our engineer.
Yeah. But that was one of the reasons I kind of liked him, because he knows Bellbrook really well.
Yeah, I mean, and I could be swayed. I mean, because I work really well with Dan, and I have for a long time, and he's really got a good handle. Sorry.
That's all right.
So.
And they were between Kleiners and KZF.
Yes, they were in between. But
I liked all 3 of them. One thing that I noticed, a lot of them, especially Kleiners, was really heavy on their use of landscaping in their examples. And as much as I love landscaping, as you well know, that's something we have to be really careful with here, because one, there's not a lot of space, and I would have to get what Ryan's, because I don't think he has anybody on his team that really gets landscaping other than maybe Brendan.
So I do think, though, that with that you know, we're going to be the ones that drive that bus, you know. So if we don't necessarily want them to go heavy on landscape design, then, you know, we can definitely make that known in the meeting. So I mean, all of these followed our RFP in terms of process, so they're all going to provide the exact same thing. I think that the one thing with MSP was they did not really have very many, you know, like downtown plans. You know, like they've got I-75 interchange was listed as one of them. So I think that just their demonstrated experience wasn't as focused on what we're looking for, which was my main reason that they didn't come out higher, even though.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of
because
traffic.
It
park
was
stuff.
They're just different types of projects that aren't really the same. I guess I just really wanted to see more of the downtown type stuff from them, and I didn't.
So should we eliminate them?
Troy, Ohio, and St. Mary's. Although it wasn't the downtown, it was St. Mary's River and the corridor. So Tip City, they did the Tip City streetscape in part of the downtown, so they have some. It wasn't heavy on it.
The other two did give, experience with the same types of projects that we are looking for.
Somebody mentioned bump outs and I went, oh no, not that word again.
What is it? Oh, bump outs?
The bump outs and putting plantings and bump outs. Yeah, I don't think that's going to go in Bellbrook. We had such a disastrous result with that. At the main street, which is the only place you could really put them.
Well,
that was bad.
We actually had a meeting with Dan today where we were talking about the crosswalks and the sidewalks, and those bump outs, we're probably going to add a few more because they make a lot of sense. Like they're traffic calming. Like we're going to put a crosswalk in up at Washington Mill.
Yeah.
And it's like wide open pavement right there, which just says like blow through this place, where it starts to tighten down in, it slows people down.
Yes.
So like we'll probably take some of that pavement away to put some bump outs there. That's what was in the preliminary design that we looked at today. Yeah. I think it's smart.
Well, that's not a very tight turn. It's what happened at the main intersection, Main and Franklin. Yeah. The big trucks and the school buses kept running over the plantings, and the salt killed everything out. So it was and the garden club tried to maintain it, and we just said, we're done with this. We can't do this.
Yeah.
It always looked bad, and people threw cigarette butts in it and pop top cans and. Yeah.
So I think that for those reasons, MSP just didn't rise to the top, even though to me they kind of got some bonus points with Dan. But I do like that these other two firms have everybody in the same place, so they all work together all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that they would use Dan, but what is that relationship like in terms of their vision and what he does? Like when everybody's all under one roof, I feel like it's a little more cohesive. That's just my thought with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
unless they partner lots and lots, which I think they do.
Yeah. So did anything stand out to anybody else?
Melissa, can you clarify? Did you say you kind of felt like MSP disqualified themselves?
No.
Is that what we said? No,
not disqualified themselves. They just didn't have as many. Their examples weren't of the kind of project that the main downtown historic preservation kind of thing.
Okay.
They were heavy on interstate exchanges and
traffic,
big traffic throughway places that, making it work.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I understood which one we were talking about, because it seemed like there was a bunch of names getting thrown around. I want to make sure I was on the same page with
you. Nobody was disqualified. We were just saying that that was MSP's heavy on the
infrastructure.
Traffic infrastructure and that kind of thing, rather than down, in the little downtown.
Yeah, that's just why they didn't rise more to the top for me. necessarily.
And one of the things, because I've talked to some folks a little bit, not a whole lot, about what we were looking at doing. And they said, you know, Bellbrook isn't a super sophisticated town and we don't really want it to be. We want to keep it homey but cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we want to make sure it doesn't get too
Yeah, I agree. And
you know what, I can't think of the word, but
and in the initial meetings that we have, like, that's where all of that will definitely
Yeah.
get voiced, you
Right.
know? So we will definitely have lots of opportunity to tell them what we're after.
and unless we do a lot of building, we don't have a lot of zero lot line, you know, right up on the street. We've got an awful lot of residential type buildings because that's what it was. It was residential and business mixed
Mm-hmm.
years. I mean, and it's basically still is. When you
Yeah.
go east. And I think there's a couple on West Franklin.
So the other thing that I really liked about Climbers is that they've done a lot of work in the county. Well, in really close by, they've done Beaver Creek and Kettering.
Yeah.
And they are actually listed as references as well. So, you know, to me, Boulevard Studios was number 4. And I had an issue with them because they had, their proposal just wasn't as impressive. It was very small.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really got me was they had I had to like take it apart to even look at it. They had a chart in here that showed other communities that they had done work for.
Mm-hmm.
And they had listed, was it Boulevard? No, it wasn't this one. No, it was Branstead or Carroll maybe.
Yeah.
They listed that they had done a downtown streetscape plan for Cedarville, Ohio, and that's not true. They never did. I used to live in Cedarville for 14 years. And yeah, I take that. Yeah, it's Branstead or Carroll. They list Cedarville, Ohio is doing a downtown revitalization plan and a streetscape concept for them. That never happened. And just to make sure that I wasn't nuts, I'm friends with their mayor. And so I emailed him because every time I see him out, he wants to just talk to me about downtown stuff and like what we've got going on and if I've got any connections that I can share with him. So I've been helping him since he became the mayor.
Okay.
And I know that they have not done anything like that. So I asked him, I said, did they ever do a streetscape plan or downtown revitalization, anything? Did they ever pay anybody? They don't even have a village manager. They don't even have a manager. So that company did not do that. And they're listed in here. And they're the same county as us.
I wonder if they messed up on the name like they did on Bellbrook.
I don't know. So I didn't think that Boulevard Studios, I didn't think that their proposal was impressive whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then
well, they were kind of expensive too, if I remember.
And then it just started to go off the deep end expensive for me because, you know, like we said before, this is just a plan. This is not any of the stuff that's needed to make this like happen.
Yeah.
So we want to be fiscally responsible with a plan. And, you know, I'm pretty sure any of these firms could provide us with a nice product. It's just, you know, what are we willing to pay for it? And to me, I don't think that the $85,000 plan proposal was any better than the $24,000 one.
No, it's out of the ballpark for what we're willing to spend, especially if we're going to tell, you know, we've got to justify our decision on tornado sirens, whichever way we go. Yep. So we have to look at this in the holistic
very much so. Budget. So one of the things, and I know that I've mentioned this to at least Nick, but I talked to Eric Henry at the Department of Development because, you know, their municipal grant program where they were giving out money, this year you had to apply. And there were certain, depending on what your project was, certain, they could give you up to certain amounts for certain things, but you had to apply for it this year. And I asked him, because it opened in March, I asked him if they'd selected anybody yet, because I was not prepared to put in for anything yet. I wanted to make sure that I had a solid proposal for them to be considered. And so he said that they were gonna meet, I think that they're meeting tomorrow, but he said that if they award all of the applications that they have, they will still have money left over.
Ah,
And this is the exact type of thing that they want to fund. So we might have a match in this. I don't know what they would make us match, if it would be half or 25%, but I'm confident, and I will check with him Wednesday after they meet, but I'm pretty confident that we could get the county to fund most of this.
okay.
So, you
That's
know,
even
it's
better.
not a given, but when I spoke to him last week, that was the situation. And so I feel pretty good about it. So I think that, you know, yes, we want to be fiscally responsible, but if we can get the county to foot most of the bill, that's great.
Mhm.
And that it's a little easier to swallow.
Yeah. Although, in a way, we're still paying for it, but because we're part of the county. But
Yeah. There's no free lunch.
no,
So I don't know. I mean, I personally really like Climbers because I feel like they really went above and beyond to, you
mhm,
know, really incorporate the community and personalize the whole thing.
mhm. I did
and
notice that. Very,
That
Very
detail to me made them really stand out.
mhm.
And they've done other projects that are very
Yeah.
similar.
Silverton, down that's a suburb of Cincinnati, right?
And they've
And-
done projects in the area with Kettering
Mason,
and Beaver Creek.
Sharonville. Did they do, no, it was the one, who did the Shantz Road,
The what?
Shantz Avenue in Oakwood?
Did you say who did that? Or
Who,
They did.
which one did that? Was it Kleiners? Yes, Kleiners did Shantz Avenue.
yes,
the
yeah. I
streetscape
just saw
there.
that.
That was beautifully done. I've driven through there.
I agree with that.
Me too.
And they did Lincoln Park. But that's one of the things, that's why I said a lot of their examples were streetscapes. Even though, you know, they've worked in the area, but a lot of them were streetscapes. Kettering Business Park landscape entry,
Mm-hmm.
Beaver Creek Gateway beautification. So I was looking for the ones that did. Silverton was the one that caught my eye because it's a smallish town, still bigger than we
Mhm.
are, but it's still smallish. And
Sharonville's pretty impressive if you've ever driven through there.
which is,
Sharonville.
well, Sharonville is, but what about Silverton? Have you seen Silverton?
I have not seen Silverton, but I've seen Sharonville. I was really impressed with it.
They did the looped streetscape down there. They're a lot bigger than we are. But I don't.
Yeah, the pictures are amazing.
Huh?
The pictures are amazing.
Yes. I only see a couple pictures on Silverton. It's on Montgomery Road, so I mean, it's in the midst of all the urban, but
And I just liked how they, you know, they picked up on things about the community and even gave recommendations even just in the plan.
yeah.
You know, like branding opportunities, city logo and pavers. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I I don't know, I just thought that, I just really like their proposal, so that was where I fell with this, was I really like them. Do I think KZF could do a good job? I do, but I just really like Climbers. So I could be swayed, but that's the one that I'm leaning towards.
Well, you've had a lot more experience doing this kind of stuff than I have for sure.
Now, the next thing that I would wanna do is, you know, whoever we would wanna look at, I would wanna check the references and talk to people, you know, before we go and make any
Yeah.
kind of formal recommendation.
Yeah. So what is our next process? We take it to council with the recommendation? Or do we check references before we take it to council?
Yeah, I would, because I would hate to make a recommendation and then something fall through and then we gotta go back.
Yeah,
I would rather do that work up front. But I mean, you know, even when you look at KZF, they do have a lot of examples. A lot of their stuff is a lot bigger scale stuff.
Yeah.
And it's mostly up north too. I thought it, no, this is all Cincinnati area. I take that back.
yeah, they did a lot in Cincinnati, Central Parkway, Anderson Township.
They did have some up towards Cleveland though. But yeah, it is interesting to see what they've got on their, for their costs for some of these things, the construction costs.
They did Mason, the border
Yeah,
between Cincinnati and.
Is
I
there,
like to. Go ahead.
is there ever an opportunity to have them kind of come in and give a presentation to kind of give us a feel for the team we'd be working with before we chose, or do we have to pretty much make a decision off the paper?
I mean, I didn't put in the request for proposals that we would be, you know, that they would have to present to us, so.
Those are kind of dog and pony shows, then.
Yeah, I would hate to say, well, if we wanted to do that, I wish I would have set it up front, I guess is my thing. That way, I don't want to run them through the ringer if they were like, well, you didn't say you were gonna do that, now you want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Clingers as well. I just don't have as much confidence with that. I can't remember the name of it, but the less expensive proposal that was provided.
KZF?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm switching back. KZF, yeah.
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 You know,
They've done a couple that were similar. North Vernon Downtown Plaza was one. See, that looks like us. Sort of.
Oh, yeah, that does.
Not as big a area.
I've not been to any of them except the Clingers ones, and everyone that I've been exposed to just by happenstance over the past few years, I've been notably impressed. And so to scroll through and see a lot of what I've been impressed with really stuck with me on the Clingers.
That's a good point. I've only seen a few of them because most of the other ones are in Cincinnati area. I have been to Tip City and they did, I forget who did Tip City, but that was done nicely.
Mm-hmm. Tip City was done nicely. So Nick, what are your thoughts?
I'm agreement with Clingers also.
Yeah.
When I weeded them out, that they came in the top two.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, do we want to present one to council, or do we want to present two to council?
No, one.
I think that we show them, you know, what the different costs were so that they can kind of see where we were focused in on. I can check references as well to make sure that this is a solid choice. I guess, you know, if we go with really whatever firm that we want to present to council, what do you all think? I'm just asking for advice in terms of what should I give them? I mean, I'll pass along the full proposal to all
Mhm.
council, obviously. But, maybe just do like a staff report that just shows like the process that we went through and the discussions that we had and some of the things that made the selected firm stand out.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. And then
That
we
would
can
be,
expand on it at the meeting if people have specific questions as to what our thought process was.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good.
that works for me.
So I
Same
don't
here.
know, I don't think I can put that proposal in, if it's Kleiners, I can't really put that proposal in the packet, but I could put a Dropbox link.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
do we
could
feel
get
good about
which one-
Kleiners then? Is that the sense?
Huh?
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
I
I'm so
forget which one
excited
of
about
these
this.
was, but they printed it in, they got real fancy with their type and went with that real pale, light gray. I couldn't even see it. I said,
That
if you
does
can't
make
give
a
me,
difference though.
it was
doesn't it?
choice one. I thought, you're giving me proposal that looks like it's been out in the sunlight for 15 hours and I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, it does.
We ran into that when we were putting ads in national publications and they all got on this kick of doing that. Cutting back the intensity of so it wasn't black, it was light gray. And they got it so light and so small that those of us who were over 25 and had to wear glasses couldn't see what we were looking.
Yeah, that stinks. I didn't
You
even
know, come on,
pick
Dad.
up on it at first.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, do we want to shoot to bring this to next Monday's meeting?
If we can, yes.
Yeah.
I can get it
The sooner
together.
you
I'll
can
start
put a
checking
proposal
references
in for
tomorrow.
advance, the better.
Yeah, I would like to get, I would like to get a decision made so that I can try to go after the county money before it's all gone.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if I wait too much longer
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
that we won't be able to get it, but I'm feeling really good about it. Like I said, they meet tomorrow and they might not award all the projects, so there might be a little more space. So, okay, so I'll do a staff report. I'll give them the results with the prices on them and then a link to the actual RFP. And I think that'll cover it.
Cool.
Okay.
Is it possible to give them a call and just ask them to put a placeholder in for us?
I asked Eric that because they're meeting tomorrow. And I
Yeah.
said, well, we're gonna look to try to get somebody we're gonna look to try to select somebody for recommendation to council. Like, I asked him if I could preliminarily put my hat in the ring for that, and he told me to wait. Because they also this time want you to get like letters of recommendation from community members and businesses for what you're doing, which that'll be easy. I'll have that I could get that in all of 3 hours if I tried. So, they want you to put a little bit more work into it.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it though. It'll be okay.
but if we
So,
put it up Monday for recommendation and unless the other three have really serious problems with it, I don't see why it wouldn't pass.
yeah. So, and I could go ahead and start getting, I could contact a couple of people, like I'll contact Jody at the chamber and a couple of the downtown businesses that are right along this area. And
Mhm.
I'll get 5 or 6 people to write letters of support. So I'm prepared so that if council approves it on the 12th, then on the 13th I could submit if I get all my ducks in a row.
Okay.
Because
Great.
the letters of support are just for the projects. It's not
Yeah.
for, it's not for any specific firm or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's not supporting this, it's
Yeah.
supporting the project as a whole.
The idea. Yep. Yep.
Speaking of these, when do you want these back? Do you want me to drop them off at the,
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It would be, I mean, I've got 4 hard copies, so I still have Ernie's and I have mine. So if anybody would want a hard copy, I've got 2 that I can give out.
okay, well, let me know if anybody wants one. I can always drop it off too.
Okay, yeah, just, it does, so it doesn't matter right now.
Okay, I'll just leave them in my stack then.
Okay. I know
I have lots of
it is.
stacks, see?
I've been lugging them back and forth from home and work, and I'm like, I need a bigger bag.
Oh,
Okay, cool. Well, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
So thanks for meeting to chat about it.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for all of your work and looking at those, because I know that took a lot of time.
well, I sat in the car on the way to Michigan and I got through 6 of them and I went, I can't read anymore. It's
I
all
can't read
blurring.
Headed. Geez, oh Pete. Okay, well, cool.
All right.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank
And
you.
I'll see you guys on Monday.
All right,
Thanks.
thank
All
you.
Do we need to adjourn?
Yeah, sure.
We good?
Adjourn.
Okay, good. Second.
Perfect. Thank you guys.
Call it adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye.